Hello, my dear students. Myself, Mr. Mangesh Bale. I am working as an assistant professor at Gokhale Education Society's Arts, Commerce, and Science College, Jawhar. So, in the previous lecture, we have seen basic principles of flame photometry. Then we have seen the instrumentation of the flame photometer. In that, we have seen the basic components of that schematic diagram of the flame photometer. In that case, we have seen the major component, that is burner, collimating lens or mirror, entrance and exit slits, monochromator, detector as a photocell, DC electronic amplifier, and readout device. Okay, so in today's lecture we are going to start the remaining components of that flame photometer. In previous lecture we have seen first component, that is burner. Okay, in that we have seen the temperature of the flame is controlled by the various factors. Now we are going to start the two types of the burners, that is, first one is the total consumption burner and second type is the premix or laminar flow burner. Okay, so first type of burner, that is total consumption burner. In this case, a typical total consumption burner is made up of three concentric tubes. Okay, there are three concentric tubes. See that tubes. So this is the figure of total consumption burner. Okay, in this case, this is the concentric tube. Okay, that will be dipped into this sample solution. This is actually beaker. Into the beaker we have kept the sample solution, any kind of salt dissolved in water, suppose KCl or NaCl, it will be dissolved into the water. That will be our sample solution. This is the concentric tube. Okay, now the central tube is fine capillary tube through which the sample solution is carried out into the flame. Okay, see the central tube. From this, the sample solution will going into the flame. This is flame. Okay, the fuel hydrogen and oxidant oxygen enter from the side tubing and burn at the top of the burner to produce a flame. That means actually to burn required fuel and oxidant. Okay, as a fuel we can use the hydrogen gas. That hydrogen gas will be passing from this direction and going into this top, and oxygen as a oxygen that will be going through this another tube. Okay, that will be again come into at this top of this burner, and here it will be both will be burned. An atomizer attached to the base of burner produce suction, due to which the sample solution is converted into the fine mist. Okay, the name total consumption burner is used because all the sample that enters the capillary tube will enter the flame regardless of droplet size. Okay, that means why this burner called as total consumption burner, because the entire sample solution will be present into this beaker that will be totally sucked out or aspirated at this top of this flame. Okay, that means entire sample will be useful to burn to top of this flame. That's why this burner is called as total consumption of the burner, total consumption of the sample solution. That's why it's called as total consumption burner. Okay, this is the figure actually, total consumption burner. Now we will see its advantages. Okay, advantages of the total consumption burner. First advantage, entire sample enters into the flame and hence it is more sensitive. Okay, that means entire sample solution used into the flame, that's why it will be more sensitive. The flame, second one, the flame can be adjusted to produce high pressure by pre control of fuel oxidant ratio. When we control appropriate ratio of the oxidant and fuel, we will get the control, we will get the high temperature, or we can say we require temperature. Okay, this is also another advantage of this total consumption burner. Now the disadvantage, one, the flame produced by total consumption burner is noisy. Okay, that means when the flame will be produced, it will creates a noise. Okay, that's why this burner will be a noisy flame and turbulent. The second one, the reading obtained are non-reproducible since the size of droplets vary. That means whatever emission intensity, okay, that will be our readings. Okay, that readings will not reproducible, because when the droplets come into the top of this burner, that will be not same size, that will be very droplets. That's why the readings will be often are non-reproducible. This is the second disadvantage of the total consumption burner. Okay, now we are going to see the second burner, that is premix or laminar flow burner. Okay, premix or laminar flow burner. In this type of burner, actually entire sample will not useful, or you can say either 30 to 40% sample solution will be useful, remaining will be drained out from the burner. Okay, premix or laminar flow burner. In this type of burner, aspirated sample fuel and oxygen are thoroughly mixed and then made to flow past a series of baffles that remove all the finest droplets. As the result of baffles, majority of the sample collect at the bottom of the mixing chamber where it is drained off. Okay, now we will see the figure of this premix or laminar flow burner. This is the figure of the premix burner, or you can say laminar flow burner. In this figure, see from this side, this is the sample will be coming through this tube inside into the whole chamber of this burner. At the same side, the oxidant as a oxygen will become into this chamber. That means both sample and oxidants also coming from this side. Okay, At the same time, from this top there will be fuel as a hydrogen that also coming and going into this chamber. That means our fuel as a hydrogen, our oxidant as a oxygen, and our sample solution thoroughly mixed. Okay, with the help of these baffles. These four are the baffles. These baffles will be continuously moving. Okay, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Okay, when it will moving clockwise or anti-clockwise, it will mix all the oxidant, fuel, and sample solution thoroughly into this whole chamber, continuously mixing. Okay, when the speed of these baffles increases, then what will happen? This is the actually the slot of burner head. This is the burner head. Okay, and here is the flame will be produced of the burner. Okay, with the help of oxidant and fuel, right? So in that case, with the help of these baffles, what will happen? The sample solution will get, or which is going through this tube into the top of this flame and burn here. Okay, this is actually the procedure of this burner. But in this case, what will happen? Most of the sample solution will be drained out through this drain. Okay, that means entire sample solution will not utilize to burning of this burner. That the most of the case will be, it will be going through this drain. Okay, this is the actually drawback of this burner. And very small amount of sample solution will be going through this slot into this top of this burner head and burn at the along with the flame. Okay, and it will emit characteristics wavelength into the surrounding. Okay, this is about the premix burner. Now we will see its advantages and disadvantages. Okay, advantages of this premix or laminar flow burner. First one, the flame produced is non-turbulent, noiseless, and stable. See, in previous burner, the flame will be noisy and turbulent, but in this case, this burner will not create noise as well as non-turbulent. Okay, and it will be stable. Why? Because in this case, whatever droplets coming through this to that running head of that burner, that will be very small one, so it creates a same size of the droplets. That's why the flame will be noiseless as well as non-turbulent and also the stable. Okay, now second one, vaporization, atomization, and excitation of atoms take place efficiently. Okay, that means we have seen these steps: vaporization, atomization, and excitation into the basic principle of the flame photometer. That three steps will be takes place efficiently. Okay, third one, these tend to enhance the sensitivity and reproducibility. Okay, that's why this burner creates or enhance you can say increases sensitivity and reproducibility. Now the disadvantages of this burner: only small portion of sample reaches the flame. Okay, we have seen the drawback into the figure. Only very small sample solution will going into the, or you can say reaches into the flame. Since very few atoms are excited, resulting emission intensity is weak, leading to loss in sensitivity. Okay, that means most of the atom which is dissolved into sample solution, that will be drained out through that drain portion of that burner. Only few atoms will going into the burner head, and that will be excited. Okay, at that time its sensitivity will be lost. Okay, this is about the first component, that is burner. We have seen into that burner the factors affecting on flame produce burner, then temperature of the flame, then two types of burners. Now we will see the second component of the flame photometer, that is mirror. Okay, that is collimating mirror. A concave mirror is placed behind the burner whose function is to reflect radiation coming from the flame into a monochromator that would have been otherwise lost. Okay, we have seen the figure into the previous lecture, or you can say schematic diagram. Into that case, second component is the mirror. In that mirror case, it will reflect whatever coming radiations from the flame, that will be reflect and transferred through the entrance slit. Okay, so our next is the slits. Okay, slits, actually entrance and exit slits are set before and after the monochromator. Okay, in between these two slits there will be monochromator is there, that will either prism or grating monochromator. Okay, the entrance slit cut off surrounding radiations and permits the radiation from the flame and the mirrored reflection of the flame to pass through the monochromator. That means the entrance will be only cut off unwanted radiation which is coming through this collimating mirror, and only analyzed wavelength will be passed through the entrance slit and reaches up to the monochromator. The function of exit slit is to allow only a selected wavelength range from the radiation traveling from the monochromator to the detector. Okay, that means whatever single type of wavelength which is coming through the monochromator, or can say prism, that will be passed through the exit slit. That will be the only function of that exit slit. It also cut off the entire of interfering lines. Whatever unwanted radiation coming through this monochromator, that will be cut off, will not allow to reach the detector. Okay, this is the function of exit slit of the flame photometer. Now fourth one, monochromator. Okay, monochromator, the function, actually this is wrong. The function of the monochromator is to select only the radiation characteristics of the element under study. Absorption filter or monochromator is either prism or a grating monochromator. Function of this monochromator is what? It will be select only the characteristics of the radiations, or can say it convert that polychromatic light into the monochromatic light. This is the major function of the monochromator. Now last one is the detector. The radiation coming from the monochromator is allowed to fall on the detector, which measures the intensity of radiation falling on it by converting light energy into electrical signal. Okay, this detector will be whatever single, or we can say monochromatic light coming through monochromator, that will be measure the intensity of that falling radiations and convert into the light energy into the electrical signal. As a detector, we can also use a photomultiplier detector, or we can say photo cell. Okay, these two types of detectors will be employed into the flame photometer. Okay, these are the actually the component of the flame photometer. Okay, now in next lecture we are going to see the quantification methods of flame emission spectroscopy, or you can say actually the working of that this instrument. Okay, thank you.